I used to want to be an actress when I was little, but then obviously like just a bajillion different like crazy things happened, and I ended up being a singer, which I'm also so passionate about, and it's like definitely my dream. But like I always still wanted to like be an actress and like be in a movie, and I got offered roles, but everything just sounded wrong. Like nothing sounded right. It was all sort of like a fairy or like something like that. And I don't know, when I guess like when I heard about Stargirl, I don't know, it was just like I felt like just the character in the story was like the perfect mixture of like maturity but also still being really really fun and light, and it was like my dream role.
I think Leo's really interesting because he has a completely different personality inside than he shows to the world. And that's, like, he used to be so open about that kind of stuff, like singing with his dad and being interested in archaeology with archaeology. But because he gets bullied and everyone around him only tries to blend in, he suppresses it, and he doesn't really do the things he likes to do as much because he's scared that it'll be weird. And Stargirl comes along, and she doesn't care. She knows who she is, and she's fine with it. And she tries to teach it to Leo, and he doesn't really get it. Actually, he asks her to change for him.
So the plot of Stargirl centers around a girl named Stargirl Caraway, who ends up being the new student at Mika High. And Leo Burlock, this young kid who is very shy and timid and sticks to himself, ends up being very mystified by Stargirl. And their friendship and relationship actually ends up changing how this school and the students of this school interact with each other.
Stargirl in our film is a young lady who really is in a place that she loves to learn about everything. She's inquisitive, and she's excited by the world around her, and she's free enough to express herself from her heart without editing. And so I aspire to really realize that so much of our growth in our world to be responsible, which is what the movie's saying also, to be responsible as a young person, to look people in the eye and speak to them as if you're speaking to yourself, to honor them, to have respect. But it's also to be able to be free and to be in wonder and to be able to be in a place that you see everything new, always, unjaded.
I think what makes Stargirl and Leo relatable is that Leo kind of represents how kids are today. They sort of like, there's a herd mentality, and he represents that sort of herd mentality. And Stargirl's mentality is not to follow to be part of the herd or to follow the crowd. Hers is to blaze her own trail and to sort of enjoy life. And so I think they definitely represent two opposing forces that should meld together. They should. One has to teach the other. Sort of like, you don't have to do what they say just because you think it's cool. You can just do your own thing, and no one will look at you in a bad light. If anything, people will respect you more because they'll be like, oh, he's cool. He does his own thing.
What we see in this young couple is not only a sparkle in their eyes, but also a sharing of a relationship, a sharing of ideas, a sharing of real possibilities for their lives with each other. So that means sharing your hopes and your fears and sharing, being able to be vulnerable. And that's a beautiful thing to watch these two young actors be vulnerable and be silly.
He has the opportunity to actually get close to her, like a lot of people in the school don't. And that does change him, but eventually it gets so bad that he has to make the choice of, do I value this person who's made me the happiest I've ever been, or do I just try to fit in?
I'm always around adults, always, which I love. Like I'm friends with my band and I'm friends with my crew, but like I'm never around kids, especially creative kids. So I think one of my favorite parts has been making friends, actually, on this movie, and also for me and Graham, who plays Leo. I think it's been really good for us on screen to like create a bond and become friends, because I don't know. I mean, obviously he's done movies before, but like I feel like we both make each other feel more comfortable on the screen.
I have really wanted to play a character like Hillary, somebody who has depth, a depth to her that is more than just a mean girl.
I think a lot of the relatability comes from just the incredible writing by Jerry Spinelli and Julia and Kristin and Jordan, because it's so well done and it's real. I'm not even sure how to explain it, but it's just so, all of the characters feel real and it's justifiable, and every character has a personality inside their head, and you can see it.
I absolutely love Julia. She's actually, I feel like, probably the main reason why I'm here, because I wasn't sure about doing Stargirl at first, and I remember I had a Skype call with her, and we just like shared our dreams and ideas and thoughts, and like we were so similar, and I literally decided to do it by talking to her, and because she was so, like, I sensed such a good energy from her the moment I started talking to her, and she especially has made me, not only me though, like everyone, because even though most other cast members have done things in the past, like it's still nerve-wracking because this is really different for all of us. Like a lot of us have never done like a Disney film before or something like this, and she makes everyone feel so comfortable. Like for scenes that I was nervous about or something, or like rehearsing, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I might be like sounding like I'm reading from a script. Like she would genuinely help me so much and make me feel so comfortable, and like I don't think the movie would be the same without her at all.
I'm, been doing a lot of work lately, and when this particular piece came along, I said, this has to fit with my schedule. We've got to figure out a way to make this work, because there's a message in this movie, not only about how we live our lives, but also about having fun and also about being creative. This film is a musical. When do you get a film that is not only funny but dramatic and about relationship, but also contains musicality? And I think the script itself, to me, is like an opus to the years that you are struggling to find out who you are. And we think as adults we've come to know it. We've only come to know how to adjust ourselves to the world we live in. Stargirl doesn't do that. Stargirl stays, who she is. She is able to maintain not only her wisdom, but her kindness. Like when you think about doing something for people that you don't even know and have never even met, just because it might bring them joy in their lives, and you do it anonymously and don't want any credit for it, you do it because it makes you feel good and because you are wanting to make people around you feel good. I think some of us as adults, not all of us, have lost that. Like how to make someone's day just with a smile, or just by looking in the eye and say, hey, I'm happy to have you here, in my space to have this conversation. It's sort of very simple, and our story so beautifully told through the eyes of Stargirl and the guy who's trying to figure her out, which could be Leo Borlick. It could be us trying to figure that out again, if we really look at the film in a different way.
I think it's be yourself at all costs, because you only really do have this one shot. We only have this one shot to go through life, and to really enjoy it and to make the most of it and to really just be ourselves and not feel like we have to put on this facade because it's what makes other people feel more comfortable. You know, it's kind of a silly way to go through life, is pretending to be something you're not because it makes someone else feel good. You know, so I think her nonconformist ways are sort of like, take me as I am and I'll accept you in kind. And I think that's a fantastic thing to have in a picture like this.
Like, if you leave a gift for someone and don't take credit, that's something Stargirl does. And it's just those little things that happen all the time, every day, that you won't necessarily have someone who's exactly like Stargirl, but you'll definitely have pieces of her in, like, everyone.
She changes how people feel about themselves. She changes the love that we all have for each other. And taking us out of our comfort zone allows us to meet other people and to experience new ways of, you know, living and being different. And she teaches everybody that that's okay.
These young people in high school is brutal, man. They're just trying to survive. You know what I mean? Just trying to survive. Yeah, it's like Thunderdome. And in this case, with this character of Stargirl, she's got something that's maybe many of us have missed. That the way for her to survive is for her to really be herself and share all of her beauty and share all of her joy and share all of her gratitude for being able to be here and to be here now, you know, to be present in this moment.
One thing that really resonated with me is that as I was reading Stargirl, I was expecting Stargirl to be this whimsical character that was selfless and positive 24/7 and nothing could tear her down. And the moment in the book, as well as the moment in the movie, when, you know, Leo is talking to her and discussing her happy wagon and seeing that she's a human being, that she has her days where she's really sad and she has her days where she's really happy, it was really interesting for me to see that we're all human beings at the end of the day. Regardless of what mask that we try to put on, if we're, you know, closed off and we don't feel any emotions, and or if we're, you know, the peppy cheerleader or the jock or whoever we are, or even the extremely positive girl that acts like nothing can tear her down, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we all experience emotions, and we all go through the same roller coasters as teenagers.
I wouldn't say I'm like Stargirl. She's a lot cooler than me, but I do relate to Stargirl a lot. Especially, I only went to public school for 1 year, my first year of junior high, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And it's, at least my public school was genuinely like the movies. Like, it was super weird. And I feel like Stargirl was a lot stronger than me, though, back then. And I feel like everyone can sort of relate to her for being strong, but then being just vulnerable for people she cares and loves about. And I feel like we can all sort of relate to that.
After audiences see Stargirl, I really hope they experience a feeling of hope or change. I think in this day and age, like I said, we get lost in our own worlds and we're a little bit preoccupied about how the world sees us and making sure that we're all perfect and making sure that we're all fine. But I hope that it leaves people feeling a bit more comfortable to be themselves, and they feel a bit more inspired to be more accepting of others and to open their eyes a little bit broader.